Hi, this is the second in the introduction to VBA using quizzes. You need to have run the first one before you do this. So, first of all, we are going to load Excel as normal. Now, you could carry on from the previous quiz, but as a revision, I'm going to start from scratch again. So, this is the normal view of Excel. I'm going to do File and Save As, and I'm going to save it as, and this time I'm going to call it Macro Enabled Workbook Quiz 2. Now I just need press save as I go through the document production. So this is our normal view, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to Alt F11 and we're going to insert. So right click and insert a module, and this gives us a place to type the code. So we're going to call this one quiz 2. So sub quiz 2. Open brackets, close brackets. We'll find out what the brackets are for later. And this is where we're going to write our code. So we'll just go straight into the questions. And the first thing we'll say is my answer, which is a variable. It's a little whiteboard of mine that I'll write down answers on. And it's going to be input box. What is the capital of France? I missed the inverted commas off there, my apologies. Input mark, and if we press F5, it will simply ask us what is the capital of France. We'll link it to Paris, and that's written into the variable my answer, so I can refer to it later. Now, what I'd like to do is to make this a multiple choice quiz. So I'm going to make the question into A, Paris, B, London, C, Avignon. Let's have a look at the effect of that. So now when we do F5, what is the capital of France? A, Paris, B, London, C, Avignon. Well, I'm going to say A for Paris. In fact, I'm going to take the full stops out of that, in case people think they've got to type in the full stop. And if I press F5 again, what is the capital of France? A, Paris, B, London, C, Avignon, and I type B, and nothing gets done with that yet. Now, it's a little bit untidy, so what I'd really like is I'd like to split this up, and between the what's the capital of France and the A, Paris, I'd like a new line to be generated. Now, what we're going to do is just say input box, what is the capital of France, and the code for a new line is VB carriage return, VBCR. So now it's going to say what's the capital of France, and then a new line, say, and then generate a new line, and then say A, Paris, B, London, or C, Avignon. So let's run that now. What is the capital of France? A, Paris, B, London, C, Avignon. We'll say C, Avignon. Okay. In fact, I'd like 2 lines. So I'm going to put in an extra one. Now you'll notice that for reserved words, even if I type them in the lowercase, VB changes them to the correct case for that particular command. And in fact, VB ignores whether you do little letters or big letters, which is quite handy compared with other languages when you use starter. So let's have a look at that. F5. What is the capital of France? A, Paris, B, London, C, Avignon. or I might even want to tag onto that answer A, B, or C. Okay, so I'm going to say at the end of that, and VB carriage return, and another one just for fun, and so let's say enter A, B, or C. And F5 on that. What is the capital of France? A, Paris, B, London, C, Avignon. Enter A, B, or C. So I'm going to enter A. So all that's done is looked at how we can change the layout of the question. Make sure you're familiar with that and try playing around, maybe putting the A, Paris, B, London, C, Avignon onto different lines. And then we're going to do the check the answer in a normal way. So if my whiteboard with the answer on has got A, then we're going to say message box correct. If not, or else, we're going to say message box incorrect. And that's the end of seeing if the answer is right or not. So make sure you can get that all working and stop the video. And we'll just try it and see if it works or not. So if I do F5, what is the capital of France? Well, I'll get it right first. A. Correct. What if the user put in a little a? Well, we're going to allow that as well. So we're going to say, or my answer equals little a. Then message box and so on. So let's try that. So if I do F5, and this time I type in a little a, it's still accepting it as correct. We'll just check that it works. I'll put a wrong thing in, so I'll put in little b, and that has been marked as incorrect. So that was my first question. So it's easy to read. I'm going to do an apostrophe and then just make it look pretty and say the first question. And then I'll do a second question. So to save a bit of typing, I'm going to copy the whole of the first question and I'm just going to change it. The second question, and this time we'll say, what is the capital of England? And we'll say A, Grimsby. B, London. And C, Barnsley. And this time the correct answer is going to be B, or little b. And let's see that working. What's the capital of France? A, Paris, B, London, C, Avignon. And so we'll say A for Paris. What's the capital of England? A, Grimsby, B, London, C, Barnsley. And we'll type little b for London, and it accepts that. So that's working okay. And then we'll do a third question. Go and see. And we'll make it slightly different. The third question. What is the name? No, let's say, which school does Harry P attend? A, Hogwash. B, Warthog. Warthogs. Or C, Hogwarts. Now, if we wanted longer answers, it might be better to split them onto separate lines by putting more and VB carriage returns in, but we'll see what that looks like. So question 1A, question 2B, and question 3. Oh, we didn't change the answer to C, Hogwarts. So if I put in C, it's going to say wrong. So let's just make sure we've changed the answer. So the correct answer in this case is C, or little c. And that's our 3-question quiz. Now you can have fun just making up your own quizzes. But what I'd like to do now is to keep the score in the quiz. So I'm going to have another little whiteboard, which I'm going to call my whiteboard for the score. And I'm going to start off and say, at the start, the score is 0. So I'll put 0 onto the mini whiteboard. Now, in the first question, if you get it right, as well as giving you the message correct, I'm also going to increase your score. So within the condition of it, if it's correct, if the answer is A, I'm going to say my score equals. Now to add one on, we say the my score at present plus an extra one. So my score is what my score is before plus an extra one. And then in question 2, I'm going to do the same thing. My score is whatever my score was before plus an extra one. You can see I've misspelled it. It'd probably be better to cut and paste it, wouldn't it? But sorry, copy and paste. I'm going to type it in just so we can see what's happening. So my score equals my score plus 1. So now at the very end, we'll give out the score. So we'll say message box, you have scored. Oops, put a capital Y in there. You have scored. And then that'll be the end of YOU space HAV and so on. And then as well as that, we're going to put my score. So let's try that quiz now. So F5, what's capital of France? A, Paris. Correct. What's the capital of England? A, Grimsby. Incorrect. And what school does Harry P attend? A, Hogwash. So I only got 2 right, didn't I? Sorry, I only got 1 right. So the score should be you've scored 1. Maybe we should say and my score, and then space out of 3. Okay, so if we do Alt F11, now we've already saved this as a macro enabled workbook, so we just do Control S to save it again, or just do File Save to save it again. And we put a button on to make it work, so we insert. Now you can make the button whatever you like, and some of the younger students spend a long time making the most press for a quiz. Glamorous graphic buttons from the internet, and we'll just right click on that and assign a macro, and the macro is quiz 2. Okay, so now when we open it, if the yellow bar comes up, we'll enable content, and all the user has to do is press for the quiz. Let's get them all right this time and see if we get 3 out of 3. A, Paris. B, London. And C, Hogwarts. And you scored 3 out of 3. Okay. Now, if we just go back to the code with Alt F11, you might want to think about how else you could improve this and make the whole thing more interesting. So good luck with that. And that's the end of this session. Thank you very much for watching.